Prepare yourself for the ultimate Kung Fu Super Cop movie with Joey and Jackie Chan.
No, leave me alone.
In Cold News.
This soup is cold! What kind of stupid fool serves me cold soup? What kind of place is this? Serve me cold soup? Do you know who I am? I am Angry Joe of Song Hong Yi!
What the hell happened here?
I took care of these chumps!
Everybody's dead. This is the third time this week. This has got to stop. You're a cop for crying out loud.
I'm an undercover cop! The rules are different! I get to murder! Maim, kill, steal, sing karaoke! Extort, commit insurance fraud, and date hot Asian lady!
That's it. You are off the force. Get out of here.
No, I'm not!
Now, the story of how this game came to be is kind of interesting. Originally slated to be True Crime Hong Kong, it was cancelled. And with that franchise, I don't think very many cared or noticed. However, it was later brought back from the dead by Square Enix as the more cinematic Sleeping Dogs. I started to get excited after my interview and some well-done trailers on the game. A good Hong Kong action flick experience. But with new life and more development time, you would think that the studio would up the ante a little bit, take more risks, and assess whether the game could be better than it already was. Now, Sleeping Dogs isn't a bad open world game. It's actually exactly what you would expect it to be. An average sandbox experience that maybe is a little too familiar. The game does try to offer some new mechanics, primarily through three main aspects: martial arts, environmental kills, and chase sequences. While admittedly this game does have a more robust fighting system than other games in its genre, it just isn't as fun and as rewarding as it should be. It's certainly not living up to its kung fu roots. Animations take too long to play out and the whole fighting feels sluggish. The combos usually require you to double or triple press X and then hold the last one, over and over.
You kidding me? Yeah, alright, come the fuck on.
Now the game does feature different enemies for you to fight, brawlers, grapplers, and your standard thugs, each one requiring a different approach to beat.
Give it up, you fuck!
Either through normal, power, or grapple attacks. It's meant to mimic recent simple combat systems like Rocksteady's Batman, but it just doesn't flow as well. Instead, you'll find most of your satisfaction in the chase sequences and the environmental kills, the latter of which will one-shot any enemy to help even these unfair odds. Objects around you in your environment will highlight red if you can finish off an opponent there. It's a welcome and fun inclusion in the open world genre, that's for sure. The chase sequences, they can either be on foot, where you're chasing down a target by climbing and performing parkour like a good Jackie Chan flick. Or it could take place in vehicles, where you shoot out the tires of your enemies. It's so incredibly satisfying and cinematic with this nice little slow-mo mechanic to show off its full glory and carnage. Sleeping Dogs also tries to spice up its gun battles through a similar mechanic by slowing down time, but only if you leap from cover. Which you could do as many times as you want. The weapons do feel powerful, but with your AI enemies not particularly too smart or challenging, I doubt anybody's gonna die at all during these sections. You'll make quick work of it. Now, as in most open world games, Sleeping Dogs has its share of minigames. From your standard ones like helping bystanders or calling your friends on your phone or street racing. To more obscure and unique ones to Hong Kong like cockfighting.
My birds win you that money. You smart pig stone bird.
Open the legs! Eat his legs!
And of course, what game in Hong Kong isn't complete without a little karaoke? Thankfully, you don't have to actually sing and match tone. It's just a pattern matching minigame, which is a good thing for those of us who aren't exactly singers. Now, there's not a whole lot of customization aside from some vehicle paint jobs and a handful of wardrobe changes. Some of them annoyingly require that you have a certain face level or reputation to even put them on and wear. Hell, even the coolest outfit in the game can't even be worn until you have a level 8, which takes forever, and by then you're probably not even gonna get to enjoy it.
How'd you like that?
How do you like that?
I was impressed though with the amount of collectibles and how they actually mattered in game terms. Like for example, you could find jade statues which you can take back to your martial arts instructor for new moves in your hand-to-hand combat. And as you increase your reputation or the face level, some of these things will appear on your mini-map automatically, which always gives you a reason to stop your car and climb some obstacles to get to the next health shrine or jade statue.
All right, next we need to pick up the wedding cake.
So you got a cake picked out?
Winston's in charge of that. He knows I'm very particular about cakes, but he promised I wouldn't be disappointed. I'm sure Winston will impress— Way!
However, unless you're a completionist, you're probably not going to be running around with full health upgrades and a complete fighting tree unlocked. I love the marketing for the game has shown off its star power. I mean, they got a lot of star power. They have Lucy Liu, Tom Wilkinson, even Emma Stone.
It's like super sexy time. You know, you're really sweet, but now's not the right time.
See, you get to date various girls in the game, and one of them is Emma. That'll sell some copies. Unfortunately, all it amounts to is pretty much one date apiece, and a subtle barely there hint that maybe you're gonna get some that night or something.
Have you ever had sex in a car?
I grew up in California. What do you think?
Oh, well, I'll take that as a yes.
Sandra, hang on, hold on. Come over here.
You are such a bad, bad boy.
And oddly enough, there's a mission where you suspect one of these girls is cheating on you, even though you're dating them and you're dating other girls at the same time, so you like follow her around like a creepo.
Hey, what the hell you think you're doing?
Who are you?
Wei Shen, motherfucker, who you?
Oh, so the big triad gangster is mad now? Only the big triad gangster can sleep with other people?
Whoa, triad? I'll see you later.
Who is this not pink person? You think you can fool around on me and I don't care?
What you will enjoy, no doubt, is the Hong Kong environment. While I doubt it's an exact recreation, there is a ton of detail there. It's very thematic and it looks great. Now, in a genre dominated by comparisons to GTA, Sleeping Dogs needs to let loose and take chances with its story. Really hit it out the park. Now, throughout the game, Wei suffers from nightmares from what he's going through, his experience as an undercover cop. It all feels as if it's gonna come to some sort of culmination or climax at the very end, where we're gonna have to choose sides between being a cop or being a triad. But sadly, the game never does that, which is a huge disappointment. The game is best when it's placing its emphasis on honor, family, where he's doing missions for his brothers, his uncle, his sister, his girlfriend of his boss. He earns their trust and in turn feels like he belongs. His interactions with Raymond, his police handler, become increasingly heated.
I'll pull you out right now.
Pull me out?
Your job was to get close to Winston. Now that's not much of a strategy anymore.
Get close to... Open your eyes, Raymond. You want the chairman? I report to him now. You want the Red Poles? I'm one of them.
That's what worries me, Wei. You're one of them.
It leads us to believe that something is about to happen. Unfortunately, it never does. And you see things coming from a mile away. The story is painfully predictable. Sleeping Dogs is your average Hong Kong action flick without the star power of a Jackie Chan or a Bruce Lee. It's fun, but it doesn't leave a lasting impression. That brings us to our final verdict for Sleeping Dogs, which is a 6 out of 10. It's a decent game. There's no multiplayer, but there is a bunch of social options, stuff like the auto log in EA games where you can compare your scores and your racing times and your unlocks to other people who also have the game that's on your friends list. The game also has a good 25 plus hours of gameplay content between your triad and your police missions, and a whole lot more if you plan to go and collect everything and do everything in the city. City. And it's hard because I did enjoy my time in Hong Kong, but it dragged due to some individual gameplay mechanics and the lackluster story and writing. But while I can easily recommend this game when it goes on sale, unless you really like kung fu movies or super cop movies, or like what you've seen here, it's probably a very firm and solid rental. Here's hoping that Wei Shan practices his kung fu a little bit more for next time. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show.
一切亦徒勞，因已找到銀河裏瑰寶，何謂最好？誰願等待？誰死方知道？為何在黑土面前已經很好
？Yeah, okay, no.
Mugen! Alright, be real quick, ready?
What the hell happened here?
I took care of these chumps!
Everybody's dead! This is the third time this happened. You're a cop, for Christ's sake!
No! I'm an undercover cop! The rules are different!
Wee-wee, Joey! Wee-wee!
Joe, you can't do that! That's racist! You can't do it like that!
That's not racist! Look at you! Puerto Rican trying to play Bruce Lee!
I don't care! It's fucking badass costume!
Whatever, that's racist!
I'm redoing it! You don't like it? Okay, well we're gonna do it anyway.
What?